Cheryl, hi.
Hi, David.
Get us started.
All right. We appreciate y'all joining us this afternoon. Hope you learned something. We'll have a lot of questions for David. He's been doing it for years. David is with AW Specialties. He's a specialist in laser transfer papers. David brings a lifetime of commercial printing experience to the garment industry, starting about 4 years ago when he brought the Forever Transfer Media brand to the U.S. market. After several years of building the Forever brand and the definition solution for white toner printers, he is now continuing to support these and other medias with AW Papers in Chicago. He is also one of the admins for the very popular Facebook group called White Toner Success. Thank you for helping us with your webinar, with this webinar today, David.
Hey, Cheryl, thanks a lot. Appreciate that. Appreciate everybody coming in. I know there's going to be a number of people that'll sort of join us as we get moving on. You know, while we get started with this, what I'd love to do, Cheryl, is if maybe you could take just a moment, tell us a little bit about Seps Graphics. What do you guys do? Where are you located? How did you get started in all this?
Seps Graphics has been in business since 1988 in the wholesale market or industry. We offer equipment, blanks, supplies for you to make product for your customer. We never compete against our customers by selling to other, your end user. So we work to support you and help you to be successful. We handle laser t-shirt transfer products, sublimation, equipment supplies, vinyl cutters, wide formats, and more. If you want to get into an industry that you just don't know about, please call me. I'm sure I can find it if I don't already have it. But since we've been doing it so long, we have over 8,000 products on our website, and we would just love to work with you. We're a small business. We're located in Birmingham, Alabama, and we're just excited to have y'all here today.
Thanks, Cheryl. Appreciate that, really do. Appreciate the opportunity to join with you today. We're gonna try. I know it's Friday afternoon on Labor Day. Everybody is ready to pack up and head out of town or get started on their Labor Day event. We're sort of hoping that maybe this might be an opportunity for those of us that aren't traveling to take a few minutes and spend a little bit of time and let us go over some stuff in terms of how we might utilize laser transfers in a variety of ways to make us some money. And that's the bottom dollar about that. We had a posting on the White Toner Success group the other day where somebody was asking about pricing for transfers, and they wanted to know if that was an appropriate posting to the group. And I said, we judge whether we're having white toner success in money. So absolutely, that's what we're all out here for. We're trying to run a business, we're trying to make a profit, and keep some happy, satisfied customers. So today we want to try and walk you through some ways of doing that. Been kind of just let me set just a couple of upfront information, and then we'll sort of get started. We have a chat window. Please make sure that you've got the chat window open so that you're welcome to chat. This isn't a real webinar. This is more a meeting, so it's a bit more informal. The chat is open to everybody, so you can communicate with anybody that's here. Typically, we were sort of expecting that this is going to be, somewhat of a relatively small crowd, although I see we're already building up pretty nicely, so we're happy to have that be the case. Cheryl, I hope that you've got the chat window open yourself.
I do.
And I'm not seeing the chat window because I'm sort of focused on a whole bunch of other stuff. So if you would please, when you see anything come in that you feel would be good to bring out to the group and discuss here, feel free to sort of jump in with that. We will have a question and answer session, sort of right at the end for anybody that, you know, that wants to wait till then, and we'll try and go through things. Second thing I want to say is that in order to get the most information as quickly as possible, you know, what we typically do here is we prepare some of these materials or most of these materials in advance. And I want to say to you that, you know, all of the stuff that we do is real. So, you know, we're not running a bunch of different things and then showing you the best of it. Everything that we do, we show what it is the first time. We don't do retakes or anything like that. And the reason why is because mistakes are as important a learning tool as the successes are. And so we like to incorporate that into our training session. Okay, Cheryl, any starting remarks or anything on your side? Are you ready to get going?
I'm ready to get going.
All right, thank you very much. Well, let's look at the agenda. Here are the things that we're going to be covering. Now, you know, a lot of you guys out there are probably in the vinyl industry right now. You know, you're probably cutting and weeding vinyl. And, you know, I know I don't even have to say it, but nobody likes to cut and weed vinyl. What's happening in the industry is that customers are asking for more and more complex designs. So we want to look at and explore a way that we can, you know, offer a no cut, no weed alternative to vinyl. And we're going to do that using, you know, an inexpensive little black toner printer. All right. So this is going to give you some new tools that lets you meet the needs of your customers in an inexpensive way, and to be able to build the business up. Then from there, we're going to load up our color printer with CMYK toner. So CMYK, a standard color laser printer. You know, there's, and let me say this as well. I've had this cough, and I know it's going to be coming up during this. I apologize in advance. You know, I'm just going to hope everybody sort of bears through with me on this. So we've loaded up the printer with CMYK toner. You know, in this industry, there's a lot of people that are talking about, you know, you got to have a white toner printer, or you can't use it. You know, this stuff only works with white toner printers. That's not the case. And so we're going to explore what you can and can't do with just a simple color laser printer. And then, you know, we're going to sort of jump into how the white toner adds to that. You know, what's the additional benefit that we get by adding white toner? And we're doing that sort of two reasons. This particular webinar is not going to focus on the white toner side of this. We're actually going to focus more on the black toner and the CMYK toner. We're only going to briefly touch on the white toner because all I want to do with the white toner today is just help support the idea of what you can and can't do with the CMYK. So by seeing what you can't do with the CMYK, seeing how the white toner gives you that capability will reinforce to you, you know, a better idea of, do I need the white toner or can I get by without it? Then, you know, one of the biggest questions that we get all the time, you know, how does this stuff hold up in the wash? And, you know, it comes, you know, it's a constant question. It's a constant issue. We've put a lot of work into understanding what works in the washing machine, what doesn't work in the washing machine. And we've done some really nice, a really nice project on that. And we're going to be talking about that today as well, showing you those results. It's an ongoing process, so we'll be adding to it as time goes on. Then once we've done that, we're going to have the question and answer session. I think Cheryl has prepared a nice little discount for us. We always want to see what that's going to amount to. I want to give a shout out to the group at the White Toner Success in Facebook. A great group of people. You know, if you're looking at or thinking about laser transfers, grab your phone right now, open up Facebook, search groups, White Toner Success. Got that? White Toner Success. It's a great group to be a member of. All right, so we're starting off today with the black toner. Okay, what can we do with a black toner printer? All right, so let's get started. So these are some examples of a full color shirt design that lets us see all of the different colors and options that are available with the FlexSoft product. So these are colors that will glow under a black light. These are nice, bright colors that we can use to, to put labels on dark things or labels on lighter colors. We've got the metallics that gives us the opportunity to have, a nice metallic addition to a design and be able to do it in a no-cut fashion. I mean, you look at this sample, it's the same set of a half-tone image of these eyes. I mean, this is something nobody could possibly cut and weed with vinyl. And this is put on using a black toner printer. We just simply print the design, we press it, apply it, and peel, and these are the results. So here's this shirt. I mean, it's amazing. Cheryl, we'll get you one of these so you can hang it up in your shop. So when people come in, they can see all of these different colors and what the results will be on it.
That sounds awesome.
Yeah, it is. It's really cool stuff. Where's the market for this, and how does this really fit into the market? A lot of people are asking that. When you're in the vinyl cutting industry, you're typically looking at your customer's artwork first. A customer comes into your shop and they say, how much is a shirt? What's the first thing that you say? Well, let me see your artwork. And then you're trying to figure out, for this guy, it's this much money, for this lady, it's that much money. And, you've got no consistency. It's hard to estimate whether you're making money or not. So we've prepared a little graphic that kind of highlights this. Let's play that now. Again, sorry. So customer comes in, today's customers, they know what they want. I mean, they've got an idea, they've got a graphic in mind. They're ready to spend the money on it. But, if you're trying to convince them to go another way, it's not going to work in today's market. We can all just swipe right and you're out, all right? And go next door. But what if you are the guy next door? I want this design and I'm ready to pay for it. Hey, great, we can do it. Not only can we do that, but let's put it into a nice neon color. Let's put it on a nice polyester garment, and you're ready to pay even more money for it. And so instead of downselling your customers, this product gives you the ability to upsell. And look at what you get with this. We've got this nice polyester performance garment with this incredibly complex design. It's exactly what the customer is looking for. And this comes off of an $80 printer. I mean, look at that. Let's look at this even closer. Come over here. So this is a glow under a black light color. One of the things that we find on the camera is that the camera really doesn't pick up the black light like the eye does. I mean, this is really super glowing under a black light. And the detail is just one feature. Sorry. It's just one feature of this to really bring into mind. Look how this is melded into the garment fibers. Check out these fibers in the garment. You can see them, all right? And that's the reason that this is such a nice product is because, we're working with basically a 5-micron toner particle with some color and adhesive. So it virtually has no depth to it at all. It gives you a tremendously nice looking result with that. Taking that even a step further, Look at this. All right. I mean, this is back when I had some hair on my face. It's starting to get cold up here now. We'll start that coming back out again. But you know, I don't know if you can I don't know if you can see this or not, but this is a 50-50 cotton poly blend. This is one of these hoodies that everybody hates. You know, it's got that pile fabric on the inside. It's, you know, it's that stretchy, thick, stretchy material. It's the kind of thing that's really sort of your worst case type of a scenario. And, you know, we've put on this really snazzy looking design, except for maybe the guy that's in it. But let's see how that we did this. So one of the things that Forever have done is that if you go to their site, the blacktonertransfer.com, you can download this action script that you can install in Photoshop. So we took this really bad camera phone picture of me. We opened it in Photoshop and we wiped out that lower section, and now we're running this action script. So the action script, you just press about 3 buttons and it does the work for you. It converts the image into a transparent background. It drops out all the black. It does the half toning so that you have a nice dot structure, and then it saves that as a file that's ready to go to the printer. All right. So once you've printed this, you know, so we've got, this is on our gold Flex Soft sheet. Of course, this is printed on the larger size of printer. So now we're going to move up to like our CMYK printer that has the larger size that we can print this with. And then from there, let's go ahead and apply this. So here we've got our buddy Christopher from Forever. And he was visiting with us on this particular day where we took this photograph and did this work. So we're pressing this for about 2 minutes at about 275 to 300 degrees. And then we do a nice hot peel. So you want to peel this in a firm, steady fashion so that you're not pulling too hard. You want to keep the print sheet nice and flat on that lower platen where it stays nice and hot to get a great peel. And once you've got a great peel with it, it's pretty simple from there. I mean, you just trim the edges that cut off the glue that oozes out. You put your garment in, you press that, place the design. You're pressing it for about 20 to 30 seconds. And then you carefully pull it out and let it cool down. Now, one of the things that you're going to hear from me a whole bunch is this point about how do you take these off. And you see here, you'll see how he's doing a really nice tight roll to roll this design away. You're going to get tired of hearing that from me because you're going to hear it a lot as we go through this this evening. After we've done that, he's just taking a little piece of tape. There'll be, you know, little bits of the Flex Soft that, you know, that kind of stick. You tape will pick all of those up just to clean it up nicely. And then from there, we put it back into the heat press. You can cover it with either a parchment sheet if you want a matte finish, or you can use a glossy sheet, you know, a silicone glossy sheet if you want a glossy finish to it. Just depends on what kind of look that you want to end up with. So again, here's our final results with this. Now, we were talking about that glossy sheet. You know, I just wanted to sort of give you a sense of how that looks. There's the glossy sheet. So now when we're working with CMYK toners, all right, we're working with a color laser printer, just any color laser printer. So now we're using the Forever Laser Dark media with these color laser printers, all right? So I just wanted to take a second, kind of show everybody the various sizes of this material that are available, all right? So we start here with the front one. Sorry. This is the 8.5 by 11 sheet size, all right? Then this is the 8.5 by 17 sheet size. So both of these will print on all of the Oki printers, and most other printers as well will do both of these. Then the next size up from that is the 11 by 17 sheet size. And then the largest size is either the 12.5 or the 11.8, depending upon which printer you're using, by 19 sheet size. So with all of this selection of sizes, you know, there's pretty much anything that you need. And then these can also be combined with the IC Split software to give you the ability to print multiple sheets and get even larger size designs from there. Okay, so we're gonna start printing some CMYK designs so you can kind of see what we're talking about, what these can do. So let's go with this first one here. Again, sorry about that. All right, so this is a color design. You know, we basically have opened this up in Acrobat, and we are printing it to the laser printer, just using your basic transparency setting. And then once we've printed that, then we're pressing it together with our adhesive sheet. We've got the press set up at 300 degrees. We've got our pressure in the press set to medium high. So it's not high pressure, it's not low pressure, we're medium high pressure. And the reason why is that, you know, if our pressure is too high, then it'll build up that adhesive onto the print sheet itself, all right? So we're pressing it medium high pressure for 90 to 120 seconds. Then you want to grab a corner, peel it with a nice steady motion. So just a nice steady peel. And you kind of want to anticipate when you're getting towards the end and sort of slow down at that point so that you don't, you know, keep pulling it real hard and maybe, you know, jerk a corner of an image off or something like that. Once you've done so, then you've got a nice adhesive layer. And then those edges where the adhesive goes off the edge, you just trim those off. And then we're putting this onto a gray shirt. This was printed with CMYK printer, so the black is really black. So those black outlines, the teeth, things like that, you know, that's real black that's going down. So it's a nice, heavy, dark black, which is what you want to see. So that's a benefit that you get from a CMYK printer that you don't get from a white printer, because a white printer makes black, you know, using the CMY mixture. So with a CMYK printer, you know, you can get real heavy, dark black. So again, we let this cool down. And this tight roll. So here we go again, you know, a really tight roll. Press it down with the palm of your hand, because most of the time with these designs, you know, we're doing a lot of really fine detail. And this media has a high density to it. And with that high density, you know, you really don't get the deep press into the shirt the first time through. So as a result of that, you want to use the palm of your hand and you want to roll it off with a real tight roll so that it shears that design away from shears the sheet away from the design, making sure everything stays on the shirt. And then again, afterwards, you want to cover it with a piece of parchment or a glossy sheet. Press it again for another 20 to 30 seconds so that you really press it down into the garment so that it has the chance to really wrap around the garment fibers to give you the best possible results from that. So nice color. I mean, you get beautiful color with this material, and this is a pretty good range of colors. And you get real black. So we've got real black with this. All right. So here's our results. It looks really nice. So what I'm going to do, I'll show one more example, and then I sort of want to get into, you know, what can and can't a CMYK printer does. So let's go with this next one. Forever did the preparation of this particular file, and they are they're kind of showing a couple of different things with this. We'll get into this. So again, we set our media type up to be transparency. You know, we're printing to the little 831 printer, and you know, we're just printing using the standard printer driver. Again, this could be any CMYK printer. The 831 is an excellent choice. And we're printing it onto this media. So this example, you know, has a pretty broad range of colors so that we can, you know, sort of get a sense of how many different colors or how many different kinds of colors that we can do with a CMYK printer onto a black garment. So again, we're putting this together with our adhesive sheet. This is a thermal adhesive. This is what does the no cut, no weed aspect. You heat this adhesive up for about 90 to 120 seconds, and it becomes sticky like crazy. And that adhesive sticks to the toner, but it won't stick to the sheet itself. So while it's hot, the adhesive is soft and sticky. It's stuck to that toner, and then we're peeling it away from the sheet. And look at the detail that we get. If you look between, if you see in that letter O, you see that type down in that letter O? It's crazy. I mean, really super, super fine detail. We trim the edges, and now we're ready to put this onto our piece of cotton, black cotton. Now we can apply it to pretty much any kind of material. Like we said earlier, you know, we did polyester, you know, we've done nylon, we've done leathers, we've done all kinds of different materials here in our little laboratory. I've got a great little setup here with all the little tools and toys to play with. Now, you remember what I told you guys about how to peel this away from the garment? What was the term I used? Let's see, everybody say out loud, tight roll. Yes, okay, exactly. We want to cool it off. This is a little aluminum guardrail I use to kind of cool things off. So let's grab it and just really do a really tight roll, you know, with the palm of your hand, sort of rolling it off, just keeping it nice and flat. Because especially in this case, you know, we've got this really, really super fine, super tiny letters that are inside that the letter O of forever. And so we want to be sure that we just tightly roll it away so that that fine detail stays there. Look at that. How'd you like to try and weed that? Not. As in not going to happen. So then we press it again, and that really marries it into the garment. Okay, so this, this is showing what you can do with a CMYK. You can see how it's pressed down into the garment fibers very nicely. So this is, example of what you can do with a CMYK printer. All right. Now let's start looking at some things that you can't do. All right, just so you can get an idea of where this comes in. So let's start with this one real quick. All right. This is a design that sort of, when you first look at it, you might think, yeah, this would probably work on a CMYK printer. And in some ways, yes, but I think we picked this one because it gives us the opportunity to sort of demonstrate, where the issues with a CMYK printer come in, that that are picked up with a white toner printer. So first of all, I want you to watch right now. I'm going to try and pause here in just a moment, just so you can kind of see what's happening, like say right here. All right. Now, if you look, right in the middle there, you see that little bird, and you'll see around the bird that the adhesive isn't completely bonding. All right, so let's go a little bit further through with this. And then we're going to be looking up towards the top up here. Yeah, okay, let's stop right here for a second. All right, so now up at the top, you see those little eggs, all right? And if you look at the bottom side of those eggs, you can see where the adhesive isn't fully bonding there as well. So let's continue on. And that's the issue. So if we don't have enough density of toner, then we don't have enough for the adhesive to be able to actually attach itself to. And that's the thing that you want to be aware of. You want to understand how it works, and be able to, to look at your artwork and determine, is there enough density there in order to be able to work with this. Now, what you'll see with this, as we're applying this, is that in fact, all of this toner does transfer over to the garment. So just because it didn't pick up all of the adhesive doesn't mean that it doesn't transfer. But what it does mean is that since there isn't any adhesive behind it, we won't get the quality of color that we're expecting, and we won't get the durability that we're expecting just because of that adhesive. And you see that when you're doing the peel. So when we're peeling this, you'll see that the adhesive isn't sticking everywhere it needs to, and that's an indicator of not enough density for a CMYK printer. So you can see everything did transfer, but you can tell by the dark and the lightness of the colors. So the lighter colors have the adhesive behind it, but the darker shadows are where the black of the shirt is showing through the colors without any of the adhesive behind it. And so this is areas where you'll have an issue. So what does that mean? All right. Well, what you're looking at, here's this design. What you're looking at is I need to understand how much toner is required in order to be able to work a design on a CMYK printer. So we made a test for that as well. So let's look at that real quick. What we did is we created a step chart. And this step chart has, all of the inks all the way through from 100% all the way down to, like 2%, just so that we could use this as a real clear measure to determine what works and what doesn't work. So again, this was printed without any white. It's just off of a CMYK printer. These are the CMYK only toners. So there's no mix of toners in this. Black is black, you know, cyan, magenta, yellow. Those are all just pure color toners. Now here you see my little mistake. All right, you see my little corner down there? Didn't redo this because that means I didn't design, you know, I didn't create my design to leave myself enough room to put my thumb on it. All right. So that's one of the things that we want you to understand. You know, you gotta allow room to be able to grab it and peel it so that you can get the best results. So we're applying this. Now we know from the B adhesive peeling that we didn't get a whole lot of adhesive adhering across the board with this. And so during this peeling process now, we're going to see what actually transfers and what doesn't. And then even of the stuff that does transfer, it's going to help us to understand, you know, what our capabilities are with a CMYK printer. Because, you know, a lot of cases, you know, even if you've got a, you know, a white toner printer, you know, you may want a design with real pure black, and you can, you know, you can get an inexpensive CMYK printer and achieve that, but you just need to understand where your limitations are. So we see a lot of colors transferred, but we need to look at these real closely so that we can see, you know, what's really working and what's not. So what we're finding here, all right, so what we did was we printed this onto the garment, then we put this into a scanner and we scanned it. So we gave a high resolution scan. And then from there, we set it up so that we could see what the results are. And so here's this particular scan of this sheet. And what I want to do is I want to break in and get a good close look at these colors. All right. So if we look in here, you know, with the cyan, you know, 100% all the way down into the 90s. I would say even, you know, all the way down as low as into the 80s. So I don't know if you can see in here, you start to see a little bit of the dark showing through at about 80%. You know, very clearly, I think you can see that at 75%, not only are we seeing a lot of dark, but we're actually losing some of the toner in the design. And then down from that, it gets even worse, all right? In the magenta did a little bit better. I mean, we got pretty good color all the way through 70, 65. You know, we're starting to see some darkness, which means that the adhesive, you know, isn't fully sticking there. 60, you know, we're starting to lose some of the toner particles, but we're getting a little bit better results with the, you know, with the magenta. But, you know, I think you generally would say that around 70%, you know, is really, and then of course here with the yellow, 70 clearly, 75%, maybe that's okay. 80's good, 75. So this is where we're, you know, where we're starting to lose that, that toner. And then with the black, where, you know, we're getting down maybe 65, 70% kind of thing. All right. So what is this telling us? You know, what are we seeing here that's important for us to consider? Is that when we're working with a CMYK printer, we need to make sure that we have a total ink density amount that is equal to, I would say, what, 75, 80%? Wouldn't you agree that seems to be a pretty good across the board number here? So we need 75, 80% ink density in our design. So what does that mean? All right, so if I'm printing 80% yellow, that's going to transfer. If I print 40% yellow and 40% magenta, all right, that's a 80% value, an 80% ink density for a tint of, you know, pinkish red kind of thing. Or if I'm mixing, you know, 40% cyan and 40% magenta to get a, you know, a nice blue, and I've got a total ink value of 80%, that's going to transfer. But if my tint values go down below that, so if the total ink density goes below, you know, this 75, 80% range, that's where we're going to run into problems. So here we've demonstrated that so that you can understand it and know what you can and can't do with a CMYK printer. All right, so now we're going to transition and do a little bit with the CMYW printers, just so that you have a quick idea of what that does for us. So let's look at this example, same step sheet with that. So this case, we opened this up with the Forever Transfer RIP. We loaded our step chart into the printer. We set up our printer with some white toner in it. So we have CMYW in the printer, loaded in the step chart, set our background color to black so we can see that everything loads in correctly. Now for this example, you'll notice we're only using 100% white. You know, we typically always recommend to people to use 150% white, but we wanted to make sure that we're comparing apples with apples. So this is 100% only coverage that we're doing with this. And then we're printing this out with the transparency setting to the laser dark sheet. And then applying this to the garment. So you can see here coming out, you can see it's filled in the white. So by setting the white value to 100%, there's actually, in this design, there's no pure white, because the lowest value that we have is 2% color. So that means that we have 98% white and 2% color. In the area where we have 40% color, we have got 40% toner and we have 60% white. So the total ink density on all of these is now 100%. And again, same problem, my thumb got in the way. So always give yourself a little bit of room in a corner where you can peel these, all right? So now I've got toner in every one of these boxes, including white. So the idea here is that we want to, you know, sort of get an understanding of what white is actually bringing to us in terms of being able to fill in these tints with enough white toner so that the tints exist as a tint with the white backing on a dark garment. Again, tight roll. You know, we got the small text in there. So we're using a tight roll. You know, actually I came up with a pretty good idea, because this was I was peeling this on this little metal table, and it was a small tube of cotton, and so I have a magnet sitting there. I thought, I'll just stick this down with the magnet so I can get a nice firm roll with it, and it worked nice. It so stuck so well, it almost didn't even want to let go of it. There we go. Excuse me. Again, this cough. All right, so here we can see, you know, everything transferred, first of all, and all of the colors came across. All right, So this is, this is the one from the CMYK. Here's the one with the CMYW. And again, we scan this so that you can see these results. So here you can see all of these tints are present, from the 2% to the 100%, all of the tints are on the garment, because this is just 100% white, which means that in every one of these boxes, there's a little bit of cyan, a little bit of magenta, a little bit of yellow, a little bit of black, all right, or up to a full amount. So in the 100% box, there's no white. In the 2% box, there's 98% white. So this gives you a chance to kind of get an idea of how the white toner printer not only gives you the ability to have white elements in your design, but to fill in these tints. So what we've learned to this point is that as long as our design doesn't have a need for strictly a white element, or as long as the artwork in the design has tint values that are exceeding 75%, something in that range, then we're good with a CMYK printer. It's only when we start working with, like gradients or tonal images, photographs, that kind of thing, that we start to encounter issues with a CMYK printer that are clearly answered by adding a white toner to that. Okay, so let's get to the last point today, and I know we've taken up quite a bit of time. The question everybody asks, how does this stuff hold up in the washing machine? All right, so let's get on to that. What we did was, this is an ongoing project that we've had. I've taken these garments home. We're using Tide as our test. We're dividing these up into 4 different groups. So we print the set that we keep as a control. Then for the first set, we're doing the delicate wash. So we're flipping these garments inside out. We're putting them in the washing machine on the delicate cycle, which means cold water wash on the delicate run. That's my buddy there. We spent a lot of time petting him while we've been doing this. And then a drip dry. So we take them outside, we hang them up, we let them dry, we play fetch with the dog. Then we come back in for the second set. Second set, this is normal wash. So this is the way that most people will do most garments. Print side out. We're not turning them inside out. We're putting them in. We're washing them in warm water in a normal wash cycle. Then we're taking them out of the washing machine and we're putting them into the dryer. We're using the casual setting on the dryer, which is medium heat. And we're running them through the casual dry set. Now the last group. All right, so this is the ones that we just really went at it. I mean, this is steaming hot water that these went in. But even more so is the spin cycle. And this is where we really found some interesting things, because in this spin cycle, we're building up so much pressure. I mean, it's like so much pressure, it eventually just forces its way through the design. And this is what creates these cracks. If we rasterize the design, we create a channel for this spin cycle water to flow easily through the design so that you get better durability. So then we took them out of the washing machine, we put them into the dryer, and we put it on the high heat settings. So this is a full high heat, high setting. And we dried it. And then we did it again and again and again. So we went through 5 cycles, all right? And then at the 5th cycle, and this is recommended, a hot iron. Get your parchment sheet, get your baking sheet, something like that. Set your iron to hot and iron these designs. It does an amazing thing to reseal them, to reheal them back into the garment. Then they went back in again for another 5 sets. And so here's our results. All right, we've got this as an ongoing project. So we're gonna, we've gone through 10 cycles with this now, and we're gonna continue with this more as we go along, and continue with these same garments. We actually have 2 sets of them here. This one is the laser dark material, and these are the Flex Soft material here. All right, so after 10 washes, let's look at some of the results. Okay, so first thing I want to make a note of is that we did the laser dark examples using the Fruit of the Loom HD cotton shirts, and this is what all of the manufacturers are recommending, is these HD shirts, because they give more fiber to bond to than some of the regular lighter weight material does. Now, we broke these designs down into 2 different pieces. And let me do this. If you could switch back to me for just a moment. I just want to take a second and show a kind of a big picture on this, just so you sort of really get it from the garment side. All right, so we've got a rasterized design and we have a solid design. You see that? I don't know if you probably could hear this in my, this is that solid design, rasterized design, you don't hear that. And then over here, same thing, rasterized, nice soft rasterized design. And another one of these, solid, solid design. So we did it both ways. All right, so let's go back and take a look at this. All right, that's what we're seeing here, is the control on these. All right, and so you can see, the solid design. You've got a solid one, and here's what it looks like. You see it presses nicely into the shirt, and then onto the delicate cycle. All right, here's what we get. So a solid design with the delicate wash, and this is good results. I mean, this is really quite wearable. I mean, you're not going to see any of those, even on that solid design. You're really not going to see anything. So if you follow the manufacturer's recommendations and use this delicate wash cycle with a solid design, you're going to get excellent results. Now, it's only, in the normal wash, now maybe we're starting, to see a little bit. I wouldn't even really classify this as a ton of cracking, but, this points out where this spin cycle, and you can kind of see in here what's happening. The water is just literally forcing through, and if you look at this closely, you'll see it's forcing through around the threads and around through the design. And that's what happens. And then, of course, if you're going to do a solid design, no way you're going to do a heavy wash. All right, you're just not going to get by with that. So this, no way. All right, but it just shows you exactly what's happening. And here you clearly see, the water, spin cycle water, flexing, forcing its way through that design. Now, this is the one that's the rasterized design here. Control looks nice, it's beautiful, nice color, nice results, delicate wash. It's good as new. I mean, look at that and look at that. Do you see any difference? Yeah, I think not really. I mean, the delicate wash cycle, it's absolutely good as new. Normal wash cycle, look at this. I mean, do you see a difference really between the normal and the delicate? I think, it's hard to tell. I mean, if somebody's looking that close, they're going to have to take me to dinner, all right? Now, the heavy wash, all right, I mean, that's not bad. I mean, that's really, really not bad, because that's a perfectly wearable shirt right there, even after heavy, heavy wash. Again, HD cotton shirts, heavy wash, but a rasterized design. So if you've got a nice shirt, a nice design, nice rasterized design, you're going to get nice results. Now, here's the flip side. That was a design that had a lot of darkness in it. This is a design that has a lot of light colors in it. All right, so here's the control here, zoomed in, nice. You see it's wrapped into the fibers nicely. So it's a nice finishing press on this. And that's a real critical thing. What you want to see here is that this has been pressed nicely so that it's really pressed into the garment. And when you do these solid designs, that absolutely is a requirement. But look at this. I mean, that looks fine. You know, you see some wrinkles in here. We didn't iron them after the 10th wash. All right. We only ironed them after the 5th wash, so there's some wrinkles there. But I mean, that looks fine. So if you do, a nice quality shirt and you follow the manufacturer's instructions, you can do these big, full, solid designs and get good results with them. When you get into, starting to get into a normal wash, I mean, really, truthfully, that doesn't look bad. I mean, that looks pretty good right there. Heavy wash, now it's clearly showing, we're seeing lots of this forcing through, and especially around the white areas is where, the toner is going to break up the most from that heavy spin cycle water. And so here's our rasterized design, and this one we use the lines, the up and down lines. It gives nice color. I mean, look at that. We've got beautiful detail. We've got really nice color, and look at all of the channels that we have for that spin cycle water to flow through. So a delicate wash, I mean, that's good as new. 10 washes, that's good as new. And that's, I mean, what more can you ask for? Even with 10 washes and 10 dries, this looks good. I mean, this is absolutely, a wearable, perfectly usable garment right here. And heavy wash. Now look at this, all right? I mean, that looks fine to me. I mean, even when you really get into it and look at it. So this has been heavy cycle, hot water, hot wash, 10 times through. I mean, that's not bad. That's not bad at all. And so we did the same thing with the Flex Off. Now, I want you to notice here in the center, Fruit of the Loom value weight. Value weight. These are not done on the HD shirts. These are done on the lightweight shirts because we want you to really kind of get a sense of some of the stuff that the Flex Off really brings to the table. And I also want you to pay attention. So the control is up in the left, light wash is to the right, medium down in the right corner, heavy wash in the lower left corner. These metallics are incredible. I mean, they hold up like crazy. All of the heavy wash, what you're seeing against the control is more of the wrinkles than anything else. I mean, the light wash is brand new. There's nothing to that. Medium wash is brand new. Heavy wash, you're just seeing some of the wrinkling. I mean, that's really all you're seeing. These metallic colors with the Flex Off are permanent. I mean, they go on and they stay on. It's incredible. We're just blown away about this, how well these metallics hold up under the worst conditions. The worst conditions. They do beautiful. Look at this. Lightweight garment, worst condition, worst possible wash conditions, and you've got great results. I mean, really great results with this. The metallics, beautiful. Now we get into the regular colors, and this is where we start to see, a little bit different results. Now again, we're in this blue. The light is beautiful. The medium is beautiful. We're only starting to see some damage in the heavy side. So the colors have a little bit different makeup from the metallics. The colors don't have the aluminum component to it that makes up the metallics. And that seems to, not give them quite as much durability as the metallics have. But I mean, this is great. You know, if you look at the medium category with these, the lower right, you'll see that under normal wash conditions, these colors do great. So the yellow, especially in the heavy wash, you know, you see it starting to break up. But if you look at the normal wash conditions, of course, under the manufacturer suggested wash condition, it looks brand new. I mean, it looks as good as the control. It's only when you start getting into, you know, the spin cycle with some hotter water and the dryer that you start seeing these, you know, a little bit of a breakup. Yellow and red were the worst of any of the colors. The other colors did fine. And, you know, frankly speaking, I think these look fine. Especially when you consider what the normal wash results are giving you. And this is in the white. And you got, you know, beautiful detail with these. This is the black color. Of course, this is black on black. Neon greens. These are the neon colors. Neon colors, you know, again, it's the heavy is the only place that you're really seeing. And, you know, you've got all the detail, everything. And this is another good point to make is that, you know, the colors are staying on the garment. You don't see anything flaking off. The only thing that you're seeing is some cracking that's occurring, but it's not flaking off. All right. Okay, so I think we've wasted as much time as most of these guys around here are probably willing to give up at this point. I really want to thank everybody that's joined us today. Cheryl, do we have any questions out there that we'd like to address?
I think we answered most of them. I think one person asked about, can you control the density in the Oki printer if you wanted a higher density to solve that other problem?
Yeah, okay, so that's a good question. And, you know, really and truthfully, I think the answer to that is probably going to be no. I mean, you know, you can turn up density in the printers, and it will, you know, it will put down more toner. The difficulty is that, you know, when you start changing density values, you're actually changing the colors. So you're, you know, you're presenting the user with a result that's not what they originally specified. So I think if you just kind of look at your artwork and try and determine whether you've got a, you know, does it have gradients in it? Is it a photograph where I've got light colors that are going to be low tints? You know, those are clearly really not going to work the way that we'd like for them to. But if it's a, you know, if it's a vector style of artwork, you know, you pretty well can adjust those and get the color where you need it to go. And these CMYK printers are a great way to get started. You know, a lot of people just don't have $8,000 to spend on a big, you know, Oki white toner printer today. You know, they'd like to start building their business. They'd like to start doing some of these full color designs for their customers and then build that into the big white toner printer. And this is a great way to do that. Any more?
I think we're good.
Okay, excellent. All right. Well, I appreciate everybody coming. You know, we've got a special offer that that Cheryl has prepared for all of us today. We want to make sure everybody gets that. Let's see what we've got here. So if you go to Seps Graphics website, so sepsgraphics.com, we've got this promo code here that you see it. It's this laser 10 code. It's, yeah, there it is right there, laser 10. And if you add any of the laser products into your shopping cart, You go in and type in that code. Look at that. Look at that. Get a nice, right about there. Nice little discount. And we always like discounts, that's for sure.
Well, we
All right.
hope everyone will take us up on it, and David's there as well as ourselves, and between both of us, since we're in the geriatric age, I think we have a lot of years and talent behind us, and we'd love to work with you.
All right, excellent. All right, thanks everybody. Thanks for joining us. Look forward to seeing you again soon. Don't forget White Toner Success on Facebook, sepsgraphics.com.
Thank you again for joining us. Have a great weekend.
Bye.
Bye-bye.